I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting of the Sonoma Design Review and Historic Preservation Commission. It is 6 o'clock. I'd like to start with the roll call, please.
You got it. Let's start with Commissioner JAHROMI,
Hi.
Commissioner HAREN,
Present.
Commissioner CORRESPONDENCE,
Present.
Commissioner RANDOLPH,
Present.
and Chair AMAR.
Here. We'll move along to making a motion to approve the agenda for this evening. Would someone like to make a motion?
I make the motion to approve the agenda.
I second the motion.
And may we have the roll call, please?
Sorry. Commissioner JAHROMI,
Aye.
Commissioner HAREN,
Aye.
Commissioner CORRESPONDENCE,
Aye.
Commissioner RANDOLPH,
Aye.
Chair AMAR.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Do we have any late correspondence?
There was no late correspondence received.
Thank you. And do we have any comments from the public for any items that are not appearing on the agenda this evening?
And there are currently no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the consent calendar. So tonight we have item 3.1. We'll receive the minutes from the regular Design Review and Historic Preservation Commission meeting on September 12th, 2023. And 3.2 is to request to install banners on Plaza light standards for the Boys and Girls Club of Sonoma Valley, subject to categorical exemption pursuant to section 15311 of the state CEQA guidelines. Do I have a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar?
I motion to accept the consent calendar as submitted.
I second.
And may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner JAHROMI,
Aye.
Commissioner HAREN,
Aye.
Commissioner CORRESPONDENCE,
Aye.
Commissioner RANDOLPH,
Aye.
Chair AMAR.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Now we'll be moving on to our public hearing. And our first item tonight is item 4.1, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the design review application of William and Willers and Charles Scott at 669 Austin Avenue, including action to approve a categorical exemption pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act, section 15301. Do we have a staff report tonight?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Thank you, and happy Tuesday, everyone. The project site is located at 669 Austin Street between France and Patton. The zoning is low-density residential, and the project site's located in the Central East planning area. The site is about 1/3 of an acre and extends from Austin Street to the west. Is located in the historic overlay zone. So the existing house was constructed in 1952 and is a one-story California contemporary residence. There's also a detached garage that was built in 1952 and a detached accessory dwelling unit in the back of the property that was built in 2020. A little backstory, this is kind of an interesting case study with our design review code that was recently updated. This is actually a project that previously would not have required design review, but because of the changes does. So I just wanted to thank our architect and our owner, Mr. Scott, for their patience and helping us navigate this new process. So interestingly enough, the new trigger required a historic resource evaluation because the property was over 45 years old. And lo and behold, it is historic. So a little frustrating, I'm sure, for the process, but it's just an interesting to kind of see how we make those changes and how everything moves through. But there was a historic resource evaluation and an evaluation of the proposed project compared to the Secretary of the Interior standards. And the structure was found to be distinctive for its architecture. And it has a high degree of integrity. An example of a California modern house. for the features listed below. It's a fairly small project. It's a window replacement. So the proposal is to replace 7 existing single glazed steel sash windows and replace them with double glazed, high efficient aluminum clad wood windows. Replacing a couple doors, and really it's going to match some windows and doors that already went in. So pretty small scope of work. Here's showing the existing and the proposed. This is the north and the street side on the east. And we have the rear on the west and south side. There's the proposed windows. And as I mentioned before, this is just a window and door replacement project, and no changes in height, floor area ratio, coverage, or site coverage. The project would comply with the standards for development in the historic overlay. And the evaluation from Ms. Duffy determined that the proposed windows comply with the Secretary of the Interior standards. Under CEQA, we have 2 exemptions that are eligible, the project is eligible for. One is our 15301 for existing facilities, and also for 15332 for historic resource rehabilitation. So the staff's recommendation is for the Design Review and Historic Preservation Commission to approve the design review as proposed, subject to findings and conditions of approval. And staff's available for questions.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll ask, is the applicant available? Please state your name for the record.
Good evening, Chair AMAR. My name is Bill Willers, project architect. Small project, 7 windows replaced in place of the existing steel sash. This was a surprise to us, actually. Windows were ordered at the beginning of the project when we were doing the design for the project, because they were basically a 18-week plus lead time. By the time we submitted the permit for some other modifications as well as the windows were on site, and so we've been through a historic resource evaluation. The windows are hoping to be able to be replaced, and I'm here primarily to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do we have questions for the applicant?
I have one. Replacing the windows is really identical to what you already have, but would it impact any of the area around the window? Any materials that you need to replace or
Well,
modify?
the existing steel sash windows are trimmed. They have trim surrounding them. The trim will be removed. It's simple 1x4 casing like most modern contemporary buildings have. The siding on the building will maybe cut back a little bit to remove the window. The new windows are nail-on fins, so they'll just simply go on the wall, and the trim will cover up, be weatherproofed, and the trim will cover that exposure up. But there's no major modification to the siding that's required.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a comment. I'm sorry it was a surprise. I'm sure you were too. But I have to say, reading the HRE, maybe it's great that you have that because it's just so rich with a lot of history of the
information.
yeah. So maybe that's a nice thing for the owners to have in their hands,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't something you were expecting to do.
Right.
And thank you for such a nice, complete application.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do we have public comments? Do we have any online?
There are currently no hands raised on Zoom.
All right. Then I will close the meeting to the public, and I will bring it back to the commission for discussion. Let's start with Commissioner JAHROMI.
It's a very straightforward application. I have no other comments.
Thank you. Commissioner HAREN?
I second my fellow commissioner. No further comments at this time.
Commissioner Cormany?
I agree. It's a bit unusual to see something of this scale. I guess this is the new future, right? But yeah, pretty straightforward project. No questions or concerns.
Commissioner Randolph?
Same. Same, and again, the HRE was really helpful and kind of bulleted out everything and you know what the questions were and whether or not the project was consistent with those concerns. So that made it easy. No questions, no concerns.
Thank you. I also do not have concerns with the project as presented. And thank you for the HRE. I really enjoyed reading it, and I've remarked this home before, and I'm so glad that we're able and you're willing to preserve it. So thank you for that. Would a commissioner like to make a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve agenda item 4.1 regarding the categorical exemption, subject to findings and conditions of approval.
Second.
And maybe have the roll call vote.
Commissioner JAHROMI. Commissioner HAREN.
Aye.
Commissioner Cormany.
Aye.
Commissioner Randolph.
Aye.
Chair AMAR.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Good luck with your project. Get those windows popped in. Now we'll move on to item 4.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the design review application of Brendan Dunnigan at 550 2nd Street West, including action to approve categorical exemption pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15301. May we have the staff report?
Good evening, Commissioners. Here we go. It's called up now. All right, so this project site is at 550 2nd Street West, between West Napa and Perkins Street, across the street from Sonoma Marketplace Shopping Center, which contains Whole Foods. The general plan land use is commercial and the zoning is commercial. It's within the downtown planning area and the historic overlay. The site is about 2.4 acres and is occupied by the Best Western Sonoma Valley Inn, which was constructed in 1987. It's a 2-story hotel consisting of 2 buildings, a primary guest room building at the front and a secondary suite building and crew event center to the rear or on the frontage with First Street West. The proposed project that is subject has a lot of items to it, but the portions of it that are subject to design review are the removal of the porte cochere or the awning over the front of the building and replacement with a new fabric awning, new exterior paint colors, remodeled lobby entrance to comply with accessibility standards, and replacement of all exterior lighting fixtures. The items of the project that are not subject to design review include reconstruction of the driveway approaches to comply with city standards, replacement of guest room HVAC units, interior update of fixtures and finishes, and new directional and room entry signage. So as previously described, the porte cochere or that vehicle awning at the front of the building between the clock tower and the main guest room building is going to be removed and a fabric awning will be put in its place. And the exterior on the left is the existing tan and white colors, and on the right will be a palette of grays and whites. The lobby entrance will be recessed for ADA accessibility to allow wheelchairs to maneuver in front of the entrance. And these are the proposed exterior lighting fixtures. The project complies with all of the downtown's commercial district standards, and it will comply with the noise standard in Sonoma Municipal Code 9.56 through conditions of approval. It also complies with the historic district overlay standards for exterior materials and colors. The project is eligible for a categorical exemption under section 15301, existing facilities of CEQA. And staff recommends approval of the design review permit as proposed, subject to findings and conditions of approval. Staff is available for questions. I believe the applicants are available over Zoom for questions as well.
Thank you. Do we have questions for staff? Okay. And let's bring on the applicant.
Hi, good evening. This is Brendan Dunnigan. I'm the architect on the project, and am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Yeah, some things to add to what was already presented is that the porte cochere is a problem when it comes to emergency vehicle access. It originally was constructed too low, and so it doesn't allow for fire trucks, ambulances, and it's so low that it's hit by high vehicles quite often. So a bit of a hazard, and this will correct that issue. And then additionally, the lights on the exterior that are being installed, those are replacing existing light fixtures that extend beyond 4 inches, which is the maximum allowed by the California Building Code regarding accessibility. Anything that extends more than 4 inches is a hazard to anyone who is sight impaired. So those fixtures will also be LED fixtures. And as stated before, I'll just say again that that recess into the lobby was because of clearance issues for accessibility. So all these things go to improve the safety, the quality, the accessibility of the project. And here to answer any other questions or concerns about the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I will open it up to public comments. Do we have public comments in the room or online?
There are currently no hands raised on Zoom.
All right, we'll close the meeting to the public and bring it back to the commission. Let's start with Commissioner Randolph.
Thank you, Chair AMAR. This project is pretty straightforward as well. And once again, the report is very, very clear and helpful. I really don't have any questions. I think the decision to remove the porte cochere is a really good one. And it's also going to kind of update the look, I think, of the building. It's been looking a little bit dated lately. So just that single change, I think, makes a big difference. And it's a very clean proposal.
Commissioner Cormany.
No, I agree, and I think that the building, the refresh is good, and everything proposed makes sense. Probably add some extra light into the entrance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the color palette looks good. Seems very clean and simple. Nice idea.
Commissioner Haren.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dunnigan, for giving more intel into this. So I don't have concerns hearing. Thank you for the report, staff. Complies with all historic building overlay contributions. I think it's also just nice to know that we're making something more ADA compliant and also accessible for emergency vehicles. For me, this feels like great changes being made. So thank you very much.
Commissioner JAHROMI.
Yes, thank you. I also agree that the proposed project would enhance the safety of the building and also accessibility. And other than that, I don't have any comments.
Thank you. I agree with my fellow commissioners, and I'm very pleased with these changes being presented, and I think it's going to really just be great. And I like the colors you chose, and I love the window updates, and everything's going to look clean and beautiful. So thank you for your project. And let's have somebody make a motion to approve, please.
I make a motion to approve agenda item 4.2 in regards to 550 2nd Street West, subject to findings and conditions of approval.
I second.
Thank you. May we have roll call?
Commissioner Jerome,
Aye.
Commissioner Herron,
Aye.
Commissioner Cormany,
Aye.
Commissioner Randolph,
Aye.
and Chair Amar.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so now we will move on to item 4.3. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the design review application of Robert Wilson to allow a detached accessory structure with ground floor garage and a second floor accessory dwelling unit at 588 First Street West, including action to approve a categorical exemption pursuant to section 15303 of the state CEQA guidelines. May we have the staff report?
Absolutely. So 588 First Street West is at the corner of First Street West and McDonald, right next to Pizza, not Starbucks, excuse me, which we all probably walk by many times a day. The zoning is commercial. It's located in the downtown planning district and is within the historic overlay. Here's an overview of the site. It's also a mixed-use development that was approved by the Planning Commission a couple years ago. So there's a residence and a hair salon in the existing building. The proposed project would construct a new detached two-story structure with a garage downstairs and an accessory dwelling unit upstairs that would total 832 square feet. There's also proposed exterior window and door replacement on the existing live-work unit and new curb cuts on McDonald Street to accommodate the new garage approach. Here's the the proposed site plan. So it'd be really just located in what is a parking lot right now for what was the previous business. The floor plan with the garage on the left and the ADU on the right. A little outdoor living space next to the garage and a second story deck as well. We have the elevations. It's a little bit of an not common situation that we have a residence in our commercial zoning district, and it's surrounded by commercial. So we have Williams Sonoma to the back and offices as well. So there's really almost parking lots and a driveway on each side. Here's the proposed window replacement. And the proposed exterior finishes, we have Monterey white paint and the new double hung windows in black and the charcoal black asphalt roof. Overall, the project would meet all of the required standards. I'll just note that this second story ADU is also resulting from some of our recent code amendments. Previously, second story ADU would have needed to go to the Planning Commission for a use permit. And so because of the code changes, we now allow the second story ADU by right. And the trigger is really just the design review for an accessory structure in the commercial zoning district. So that might be something that we look at moving forward, but right now that's what the trigger is for design review. The project is exempt from CEQA under section 15303 for new structures. And staff's recommendation is to approve the design review subject to findings and conditions of approval. Available for questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions?
I have one. I noticed that the project is proposed to be built where currently there's a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Would that impact by any mean requirement for parking in that area?
It does not. Another recent code change that we had was to reduce our parking counts.
Mm-hmm.
So what's required for a mixed use is 1.5 spaces per unit. So there's one unit on site. Based on the code, you round up at a half, so 2 parking spaces are required. There's the required parking in the garage and on site.
Thank you.
Seeing no more questions, then I will ask, is the applicant available?
The architect's sick.
Great. Can you please
Here
state your
to
name for
support
the
Robert
record?
Wilson.
Thank
I am
you.
the property owner with my wife,
Oh.
EJ, who is the hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be a 6-station salon. When I bought the building in 96, 7, it was my design build office for my previous construction company. So anyway, long and short, COVID, the salon shut down. We decided to move into the house. Kids are all grown and gone. We own the place. You know, it made sense. It used to be a little cottage, still had a kitchen. Anyway, so we turned it into our house a couple years ago. The trees in the parking lot, two things that are main driver on this, to be honest, or three. But anyway, the trees in the parking lot are ruining our vehicles.
Yeah.
Parking there, the things falling off the
Yes.
trees. My poor wife's car, more her car than my truck. But anyway, and she's by appointment only. It's a single station salon, just in a small corner of the house in the front. And so because it's appointment only, most of the people actually park on First Street or on McDonald. Parking lot isn't used that often by the clients. And it is occasionally, but not necessary. But long and short, more often than not, we're dealing with people parking there for events or going to Pete's. And there's always like somebody in our parking lot. And it's, you know, we have signs up everywhere and it doesn't matter. And it just doesn't make you feel like you're at home when you look outside and you see somebody parked in your yard.
Yeah.
You know, and anyway, so we need the garage, and, you know, we have kids that we want to have an available space for both our children and her aging parents. So that way with the ADU, or, you know, it could be a rental, we don't know. But, I mean, more family is what we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made sense to kind of just do it wrapped up all into one.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And matching the house that's existing. The windows in the house are old vinyl windows from when I did the remodel on the salon, 2003. They're just garbage. There's, you know, whatever. There's seal leaks. There's problems with the windows. So we just wanted to, since we're living there, upgrade to nice Marvin windows, you know, double hungs, whatever. Same size, not changing anything, same trim details, same colors. Same comp roof that's on the house will be on the garage. The garage will match the house, hardy siding, everything's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Be a nice little fit there, and we feel good about it. Yeah. Or else we wouldn't be here applying. But I guess I'll stay in here for questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Do we have questions? No. Okay, we'll take it to public comments then.
There are no hands raised on Zoom.
All right then. We will close the meeting to the public and bring it back to the commission. How about Commissioner JAHROMI?
So another straightforward application. I have no specific comment, and good luck with the new residents.
I second that. Thank you for sharing the story. It's interesting to hear of a building that's right, and I've walked by it quite a handful of times and didn't know the backstory behind it, but it is interesting to see that mixed use and what a great location. So wishing you all the best in the remodel and excited to see what it looks like for you not to have people parking in your front yard.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Cormany?
Very familiar with the project and the occupants. I think this is a really great project, honestly. I love the idea of ADUs, adding more place for people to live in the town instead of taking it away. So I think it's a great trend, and I'd like to see it. It's refreshing. So congratulations to you. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Randolph?
Thank you, Chair AMAR. Yeah, I think this is a great creative use of the space. The backstory, yeah, that's great. Sorry you've had people parking in your parking lot.
They don't know. They just think it's an empty business.
Yeah.
But they always say,
I just didn't, yeah, yeah. It's such a great location, as one of my other commissioners had said, and a charming cottage. I used to go there for haircuts when it was the 6-station place, so I've been inside, and it's a great spot. So I love what you're doing with that. It's going to be very smart looking, I think, and give you an opportunity to have your own little compound instead of, you know, living in the middle of a parking lot.
I also love this project. I also live on First Street West, so I totally get everything you mentioned, as well as, you know, bringing family in closer to live with you. It's a wonderful idea. I've always remarked how beautifully maintained that property is. It's spotless. It's wonderful. So, looking forward to seeing the ADU, and it's great to add that density into these empty parking lots. And I think the second story ADU will be really fitting in that spot. There are a lot of other second stories around, and I think it'll just mesh right in there. So thank you so much for submitting your project. And so I think I think we need to take a vote. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve agenda item 4.3, subject to findings and conditions of approval.
I second.
The roll call, please.
Commissioner JAHROMI, Commissioner HAREN,
Aye.
Commissioner Cormany,
Aye.
Commissioner Randolph,
Aye.
Chair AMAR.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be watching.
Is there more? You guys doing more stuff? That was it, right? Yeah.
You always do some housekeeping. You can stick around if you want to.
Well, no, that's what I meant. Is there more? Stuff?
We don't have anything else on the agenda.
I didn't think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thank you all. Thank you.
So it looks like we're gonna do an election of an officer.
We are. We have not had a vice chair for a while, and thank you to Commissioner JAHROMI for stepping up when we really, really needed someone to run the meeting. But that item is before the commission this evening to choose a vice chair, and the chance that the chair is unable to attend or conflicted out of an item.
Great. And do we have any nominations?
What's the process?
I was just gonna do
I
it.
think it's open for commission discussion for nominations. I can make a nomination. No, no, it's up to the commission to have a discussion and make a recommendation and motion.
Can I have just an update about just our commissioners in general? What is the status of, are you an alternate, you're official now, back on?
Don't know.
Okay. Maybe let's start with the update about,
I believe
Commissioner Randolph. and
so Commissioner Randolph was appointed and is an official member of the commission. I don't have any other updates that I can share. I can have check with the city clerk and see if there's any other updates for our next meeting.
Okay, so you're kind of just sitting pretty.
So I'm an alternate.
You're still alternate? Okay. Great.
Okay.
All right, glad we clarified.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
Okay. Would anyone like to be vice chairman? Vice chair?
we're all looking down this way.
You
so-
seem very comfortable in your seat, so I thought.
Thank you, thank you, I accept it.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Did we do that?
So yeah, I think, is there an official nomination there?
So I would propose that we nominate Commissioner JAHROMI as vice chair.
I second. Roll call vote, please.
Do we need to open it to the public?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We should open it up to the public before we
Would anyone
roll call.
in the public like to comment?
And there are no hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you.
Ready to vote?
Yes, please.
Commissioner JAHROMI,
Should I say aye?
Yes.
Commissioner HAREN,
Aye.
Commissioner Cormany,
Aye.
Commissioner Randolph,
Aye.
Chair AMAR.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
Congratulations. Do we have items for discussion tonight?
Just a couple updates. I think everyone hopefully is aware that we have kicked off our general plan process, and some friendly faces came to our first meeting. We had our second meeting last night, this is going to be a 2-year process, so we're really just at the beginning, and I can't remember if we've done an update yet Yes, no, no. So we selected, the city selected De Novo Planning Group, who prepared our housing element. And the first couple steps are doing the existing conditions report and documenting our baseline, where we are, so that we can plan our future and where we want to go. We started off with visioning. We had 2 public workshops this month, and we'll be continuing to have a few more public meetings out and outreach in this winter. And the existing conditions report we expect to be public sometime in early 2024. So encourage everyone to participate. This is a perfect opportunity to get your priorities to the consultant. We have a lot of materials on our website. We have a designated general plan website, so all the activities that were done at the last 2 meetings are online, and so we still welcome participation. The meetings were also recorded, so if you would like to go back and watch those, you can do that as well. Thank you. Yes?
First, I attended one of the meetings. I thought it was fabulous. I thought the consulting group was great, informative, engaging, and
Turn your mic.
informative, engaging, and it just felt like just a great kind of guiding force for the community that was there. What is happening in order to get this information to the Sonoma residents to say, contribute, there's a link, drop in your feedback? What are we doing to push that out so that people know that they have an opportunity to contribute?
We have had lots of opportunities and ways. We're trying to reach every member of the community. We have been pushing out on social media for those that are more tech savvy. We've had notices going out in our newsletter for kind of the frequent flyers that are used to getting their information that way. The information was sent out to the Sonoma Valley School District and pushed out to all the parents that way. And we also sent out a mailer to every resident in the city. And working with the Chamber of Commerce, we were also doing outreach in person to all of the businesses.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Sorry, just 2 kind of technical questions, because this is an exciting moment for Sonoma. Is it are residences getting notified, like you'd get notified that you're an agenda item that's relevant to you because your property touches them or something, like that sort of snail mail delivery?
We did a very special, more prominent postcard. It was about that big.
Okay.
And it was sent out to every property owner and every resident.
Terrific. Okay. And then last question, could we push it out through the private schools in Sonoma as well? Just trying to think of just reaching
I'm
through
sure
everyone.
we could do that.
Okay. I'll help you. You just
Yeah.
let me know. I'm excited.
I have a question. So what exactly is the end goal, or when you're finished, what does it look like?
The end goal will be a general plan and an environmental impact report. So our general plan was last comprehensively updated in 2006. So we've updated little pieces. We updated our housing element. It was adopted in January, and that's really its own beast. It's dictated by state law. We have to update it every 8 years. There's a lot of requirements, so that part is brand new. And our circulation element was last done in 2017. As staff, what we've been running into is we've accomplished a lot of the goals that we set out, and it's time for new goals. And so when we do progress reports every year, and you go down, and we're starting to have accomplished a lot of our goals. And so the general plan's mandated by state law. There are 7 elements that have to be in the plan. There are also optional elements. So some of the topics that we might want to consider adding are parks and recreation, historic resources, cultural resources, environmental justice, sustainability is going to be woven throughout. So it's a really good opportunity, and it gives us enough time to really do a good, thorough job. There are some state laws that we need to respond to with regards to the safety element and looking at emergency evacuation for wildfires. And there's a lot of changes coming with green infrastructure. So it's really we're a little bit ahead of the curve right now in being able to look at those now and get that implemented in our general plan. And then the other big benefit will be having the CEQA coverage from a programmatic standpoint. Our last EIR was about 80 pages. For anyone who has looked at an EIR lately, they're more like 1,000, 300 to 1,000. So it's just going to be a much deeper dive into the environmental impacts that the growth is going to have on the city. It should be really helpful for housing and kind of help streamline some housing projects down the line.
Is there a follow-up schedule where you review it so it doesn't linger? I mean, are you required to do this every 5 years from here on out, or?
You're not required to. The shelf life, you're supposed to do it about 10, 15, 20 years. It really varies. Some jurisdictions do it every 15. I don't know that any do it really more frequently than that. Some of them are 40 years old. Some of them are older. So we're in pretty good shape, but it's definitely time because it will take a few years, and we want to spend a lot of time doing community outreach and making sure that it's the vision of the community and not just staff saying, oh, this is what we want.
I have a question. So the final authority to approve the general plan would be the city council?
Correct.
And if there were modifications between the approval time and the 10, 15-year window, that would be another report that would be prepared by a consultant for the city council to consider.
Yeah, it can be smaller changes. Sometimes on a property by property basis, we might want to change a zoning designation, which means you have to change the general plan. So we might want something to go from mixed use to commercial or from commercial to residential. We might have annexations, bringing in property that are outside the city limits but within our sphere of influence. Or maybe a policy just isn't working and it needs a couple tweaks, things like that. So you are allowed to make changes, at a staff level, but typically the bigger changes will be done by a consultant.
That's it. Thank you.
But I encourage everyone to pay attention and get on the website and get on our list and please participate.
Question. So the de novo planning group, is that the same as the development?
No,
group?
it is not. That's
Okay.
the favorite question.
I think it's a really good thing to point out
It
because
is.
it sounds like a conflict, when you hear that. So
Yep.
anyway.
So De Novo Planning Group is the firm that prepared our housing element. They are an environmental and planning consulting firm. They worked on the Sebastopol general plan. They worked on the Sonoma Springs specific plan. So they have a lot of local experience that's going to be really helpful.
And is it de novo versus
De Novo versus De Nova.
That was the first question asked at the meeting.
Was it?
Yeah.
So it got cleared up right away.
Good.
I got confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then our other announcement is just that we have Natalie, which we already introduced, and really happy to have her.
Good
So-
roll calling.
Yeah, trial by fire.
Yeah.
So we'll be phasing Natalie in and phasing Matt out, and just thank you for giving her such a warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, next up. All right, did that cover issues and updates
I
as well?
think so,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Well, do we have further comments from the commission? No? Well, then I will adjourn this meeting at 7:43. 7:43.
643.
6:43. Oh my gosh, I need some glasses over here.